All right, hey there. Good morning. It is meteorologist Ben Peine here for Ben at 10 on this Wednesday, June the 11th. Beautiful day across the area, by the way. And we're going to see temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. If you like summertime, this is the summer weather that is on the way. Thanks for joining me, by the way. Meteorologist Ben Peine here, P-E-I-N-E. Thanks for following or liking our Facebook page. Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media, and that is E-X-T-O-L. Extol Media on YouTube or Facebook, and also extolmag.com/weather. So taking a peek outside, there's that lovely sunshine that we have across the area. Little bit of a hazy sunrise this morning, thanks to still some wildfire smoke from Canada up in the air, and we are maybe just a little bit of a touch of fog in some valley locations as well. And today is Wednesdays with Weddington. We're going to bring in Brad Weddington, local custom home builder, here to our show here in just a moment to discuss any projects around the home. So we'll be joining Brad here in just a moment from his home. There you can see him right there. Getting ready in his backyard there in Memphis, Indiana. Be taking a look at the comments as well. I've just got right now up the current look at extolmag.com/weather at our current conditions. And it looks like the mics and everything are looking good here this morning. Happy hump day. Hope you're having a good start to the day. I'm going to refresh this right here as we look at our current conditions. And right now we've made it to 70 degrees up around Georgetown and New Albany, upper 60s, low 70s across the area. I've got the alerts turned on this map, and that alert right there is that flood warning that is still in place for the East Fork of the White River at Seymour. So still some high levels with the East Fork of the White River there and the Muscatatuck River. And then you can kind of turn those alerts off if you want. And as we look at the full screen, very clear conditions across the region. And as I bring up the complete full view of the radar and satellite, there you can see we have got high pressure in control. So this is a big area of high pressure. Very light breeze today, only at around 5 miles per hour. As this area of high pressure begins to scoot to the east tomorrow, we are going to start to get more of a return flow from the south. So a south breeze, sunshine, we're talking upper 80s, near 90 degrees. And eventually, as that area of high pressure moves even farther off to the east, we'll start to get some unsettled weather returning to the area, looking like late Friday, Saturday, Sunday, our Father's Day weekend, really muggy, and also a chance for some occasional showers and thunderstorms as well. So our weather pattern getting a little bit busier again as we get toward the weekend. Looking at any comments that might be popping in here this morning. One of the first ones, as always, here is Beverly Haggis. Good morning there from Borden, Indiana. So if you do have any weather questions, feel free. Don't be shy. Pop them in the comments. If you have any suggestions, anything, feel free right there. Pop them in. I want to thank, starting off here, some of our partners and advertisers. Ivy Tech, all you got to do is go to ivytech.edu to learn a whole lot more, and then go to locations, Sellersburg location. We're going to try to head out there live next Tuesday. They've got Tuesdays at the Tech where you can learn one-on-one. You can get registered for Tuesdays at the Tech at ivytech.edu locations. Sellersburg, 42 programs offered. So meeting you right where you are here in Sellersburg, Indiana. That could be in high school, that could be in college, that could be maybe you're already in your career but you want to level up. So check out Ivy Tech. And once you get all trained up, we've got a job opening here, the roofing repair technician, Lions Roofing. You can give them a call, 812-294-3595. Really cool people there, good buddies of mine. They are a local company out of Memphis, Indiana. Obviously very trustworthy here. You can get your free estimate on your roofing if you have any roofing questions. Again, you can go to lionsroofingco.com, 812-294-3595, and a whole lot of job postings here at libspaving.com. That is L-I-B as in Ben, S, paving.com. Check out their job openings there, and then head off to NWSB. Once you're getting those paychecks, You need to drop them in the bank. So people, wherever you go, banking the way you want, NWSB, friendly people at all of the local branches, and you can see all the offerings there at newwashbank.com. And pretty soon here, in just a couple minutes, we are going to be talking to this guy right here, Brad Weddington of Weddington Custom Homes, with a live interview from his backyard. But let's get into that forecast here. And I want to remind you too, before we ramp into that forecast, you can always join up with us if you want to get out that Southern Indiana megaphone and let everybody know about your business, your organization. You can contact me, Ben at xtolmag.com, Jason at xtolmag.com. We've been averaging over 2 million views per month over the last 90 days. So thank you so much for being part of Ben at 10 and all of our other weather content offering on Facebook and Xtol Media and all of that there. So that's very easy. If you just have a weather question too, feel free to email me, Ben at extolmag.com. Take a look at this. This was the strawberry moon last night. Thank you for sharing the pictures, by the way, on Facebook underneath my post that I had that had like 75,000 views. So thank you very much for everybody taking a look at that. Pamela K on the left side. And this is very indicative of what it looked like because this was one of the most southern crossing of the moon, meaning it was very low in the sky. And I've got a big hill in the backyard in my southern sky, and I was never able to actually see the full moon because it was so low. But those that did see the full moon got a good picture of it right there. And there you can see the nice view of it from Josh Smith. So thanks for sharing that strawberry moon. And it'll be a bright night tonight as well, as we're going to have that full moon popping up at around 10:02 p.m. tonight. Almost full moon. Last night, 3:43 a.m. was when it was full. Take a look at the morning sunrise here from Robert Fisher. Thanks for posting this on X to me. From around Madison, Indiana there in the valley. You can see the hazy sunrise. Part of that could be some of that Canadian wildfire smoke. Part of it, just some moisture in the air, a little bit of that valley fog early this morning. And there you can see the wildfire smoke from Canada still just lingering and lollygagging around the Ohio Valley. So those brighter colors, the orange and the yellow, that indicates some of that wildfire smoke originating up in central and northwestern Canada. So we still have some of that haze out there. Nonetheless, UV index is going to be at a very high level of 8. So not too hard to sunburn out there. So grab some of that sunscreen and maybe just avoid some of that direct sunlight this afternoon. And today, tomorrow, Friday, moderate levels of tree, grass, pollen, and some mold spores. And today's forecast for your June 11th, 86 degrees, sunny and very warm and not too humid just yet. That humidity will be cranking up as we head into the weekend. Corey Anderson, good morning, Mr. Peine. You got the last name correct. Thank you, Corey, for tuning in here this morning. Patricia Spriggs, good morning. Great start to a beautiful day. Have a great day to you. Got a good morning here from Jill Hilland. And Mike Sievert, good morning to you. Same from Linda Lamb. Thank you guys for tuning in here this morning and just loving the full moon here from Laura DeVore. Thank you guys for those comments and join in the conversation here on Ben at 10. So there's our forecast today. Getting warmer, 86 degrees, that high temperature, and almost no wind out there. Very peaceful day, southwest wind at 5, and our sunset at 9:06. And tonight's forecast down to 67 degrees, clear and calm, and that moonrise at 10:02. It'll still be low in the southern sky, and but big and bright as we had the full moon earlier this morning, and just a very light wind overnight. Our sunrise at 6:19. Tomorrow's forecast, we're looking at 83 by noon tomorrow, heating up into the upper 80s. That is your normal high for the peak of summer heat, like late July, August. So it's going to be getting a little bit muggier day by day as well, especially Friday into Saturday. You're going to feel that tropical Florida-like feel back in the air. And eventually that higher humidity is going to interact with an incoming slow-moving but weak front. And that'll give us a spark for some scattered showers and thunderstorms from time to time for this weekend. So if you have some golf plans, some outdoor plans, fishing, lake, pool with dad this weekend, just have that alternate plan to maybe briefly head inside if we do get a passing shower or thunderstorm. The severe weather threat should be low for us. We're all dry tomorrow. I think the first half of Friday is dry, but toward the evening time, we'll see a chance of a shower or storm, especially for areas west of I-65. And then a better chance of some of these spotty showers and thunderstorms for this weekend. Highs generally in the mid-80s, might feel a bit warmer than that with the humidity. So Saturday, Sunday, a little bit unsettled there, and then we stay in the summer pattern with mid to upper 80s Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And also notice our low temperatures for the next 7 days around 70 degrees. That is your indication that the humidity is going to be on the high side as well. All right, at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see something scrolling here. If you've got any questions for Brad Weddington of Weddington Custom Homes, he is going to pop in with me basically right now. So if you have any projects around the house, anything frustrating you, it always happens. It's like whack-a-mole around our house. You fix one thing and then another thing pops up. So if you have any questions, you can drop in a comment right here live with Brad. And then we'll try to get it answered for you the best we can. So we're going to bring Brad up right now. And there he is. There he is. Let me put my earpiece in so I can hear Brad. Good morning, Brad. How's it going?
It's going good. You got me?
I got you perfect, loud and clear. And I see you're out there in Henryville,
yes,
backyard.
In my backyard again. Yes, sir.
We got to get that live camera set up out there. Beautiful. Every time you've been on for Wednesdays with Weddington, by the way, it's been like a perfect morning. I don't know. You're bringing in the good weather.
I try.
All right. So is off the top here, I've got a question for you here in a second. But anything top of your mind as we head into summertime that you want to get out there or that people might want to think about, maybe some things to check on that they haven't checked on in a while that maybe they should take a look at around the house while you got a little extra time to do that?
Yeah, I mean, with these warmer days and nicer evenings, a lot of people are spending more time outside. One thing to hit on is, and this happened at my own house, is the water hose was left hooked up to the hose spigot through the wintertime last year because we had, or this was year before last, because we have chickens outside that my wife has to fill up water things for through the winter. So instead of unhooking the hose, it stayed hooked up. Long story short, I didn't know it until the summer whenever I went to open that valve and I heard something leaking in the basement. And it was because that hose bib had froze and split, but you didn't know it until you turned it on in the summer and it re-flooded that cavity full of water. So those are things to look at. General maintenance on the exterior of the home. See a lot of people doing pressure washing and items like that to the exterior of their home in the early summertime.
So once again, usually I use myself as an example, and usually not a good example. So I was pressure washing parts of my mom's house last week, and while I was up there, the hose knocked the ladder down, and I was stuck on the roof by myself for a little while. My mom wasn't strong enough, being well into her 70s, and my grandma, 98 years old, they couldn't help get the ladder back up. So there might be some safety things to think about if you're trying to do some things on your own, especially on a ladder. If you're afraid of heights, it might be worth opening up that wallet or that credit card to have some professionals help you out. Would you agree with that?
Just don't go outside of your comfort zone. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
You're physically fit, getting up on the roof, knocking the ladder over. It's a funny thing, but could you imagine if that was you and you didn't have cell service or have a friend or family member close by? So those are things to think about. Just don't overexert yourself. Don't take on more than what you think you can. I'm not telling you to hold yourself back, but at the same time, just be cognizant of those risks that are out there for items like that, especially up on the ladder. I seen that post last week when that happened, and it just reminded me of who is that? Chevy Chase in the Griswold Christmas.
Yep. I heard that one too.
Yeah.
But we got a comment here from Laura. She said, "I don't do ladders, LOL." So yeah, like Brad said, if it's not in your comfort zone, maybe think about hiring that professional. But so this time of year, I haven't stained my deck. This is a question I have for you. In 10 years, so the covered part in the back still looks good. In the front, you can definitely tell that we need to stain the deck. Now, how often do you think that people should stain the deck? And also, I have a friend, I'm not going to name his name, that has a theory that you should never stain your deck because once you stain your deck, you're just going to have to keep staining your deck. I don't know if you've heard that theory before. So let me know your thoughts on the timing and that conspiracy theory.
To me, that's not a good principle. Or that's not a good way to look at it. As far as just never stain it, and then you never have to restain it. You kind of hit the nail on the head there with the fact that your back area is a covered deck, whereas the front is exposed to the elements. The enemy of a treated deck is UV rays, so that's the big aspect on it. So number one, you're going to have to wait. Let's say we installed a brand new, fresh deck on the back of a house right now. You're going to have to wait till the end of the summer before you can stain that anyways. And the reason for that is the treated lumber has to dry out a little bit. Think of it as a sponge. When it's treated, it's a sponge full of moisture, so it can't absorb more. So as you allow that treatment to dry off a little bit, you allow that wood to be like a dry sponge, and now it's going to absorb and soak in that stain that you put on there. There's different types of stain. You go from a clear coat all the way up to what's called a solid stain. So you've got clear, semi-solid, solid. I'm not trying to get too in depth on one aspect.
No, go ahead. But we can always rewatch this. We can replay it.
I don't want to lose anybody, but because to most people this is a simple question, but to me, I kind of want to dive down into it. So, what's going to help prolong the life of your deck is how many of those UV rays can we block? So, the covered area on your deck, it's going to last about twice as long under that coverage, if not 3 times as long than the uncovered area that's on the front. So that's one thing to think about as far as timing. Another thing to think about is the more pigment that's in that stain, the longer it's going to last. So basically on a semi-solid stain, you're going to be able to look at the deck and still see the wood grains, and it's going to look like a natural deck, just changing the color. Whereas if you go to a solid stain, it's almost going to look like paint on there, but that's going to last the longest. And at the other end of the spectrum, you have more of just the clear coats and items like that. So the biggest thing to do is basically protect that wood from the UV rays. And I want to say on my back deck, I've got a covered area, and you can go about 10 years on a covered area, but on an uncovered area, you're noticing, Ben, on your own house, it's probably a 5 to 6 year time span. So
I'm overdue for sure on that. No, go ahead.
They've changed. So treated lumber now versus treated lumber 20 years ago, they've changed the chemical composition of it. So when people say it just doesn't seem like it lasts as long, they're actually right. As long as you get stain on it, it's going to really help with the lifespan of it. But yeah, just to leave it out there with no stain on it whatsoever, cooking in the sun, you're not going to get near as much time out of it as you think.
All right, we've got a question here. Laura says, I know this for sure. Made the mistake of staining a portion of wood fence we installed ourselves. Gotta let it dry out first. It will warp. So that was to your earlier point to wait. Now, John Fox says, what if you just power wash and waterproof? So you just keep the natural color of the deck.
You can do that, but you're gonna need to do that almost every year. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of work.
Yeah. So it's gonna require more maintenance if you do that route, because clear coating it, like I said, it doesn't have any UV inhibitors in it, so it's gonna gray out. If you see the old wood on an old barn or anything like that, it's got that gray color to it. If you just do a clear coat, that's going to gray underneath of there because you have no UV inhibitors blocking that sun. So what he's saying, yes, that can be done. It's just going to require maintenance of an annual or every other year type of thing. Whereas if you stain it with a solid stain, you're going to last, a good 3 times that length.
All right. So my other question is, I've got another friend in the neighborhood. I won't name his name because I don't know if he wants to be named, but he's in professional staining and painting business. And so when I ask him, if he can get me an order, he's like, here's the list of what you got to do. So it's like, you got to power wash it. Then you got to sand it. Then you got to let it dry for a couple of days if you really want to like open up the pores and get that stain. So how much would you recommend to follow those directions step by step? Because we're talking maybe like a week process. You got to make sure you got dry days in there. It's not, then it can't be too hot. It can't be too cool. Like it is, if you want to do it right by the book, it is quite the process to do some staining the right way.
Yes, there's a happy median between just slapping it on and going that extreme. So there's a happy median in there, because now me as a builder, I just want to say, well, just pop the boards up and put composite down, and you're never going to have to worry about it again.
Like my mom's house, yeah.
Right. So you firsthand seen the difference on your mom's houses versus yours as far as maintenance goes. Yes, you're going to have more of an upfront cost, but maintenance is unbelievably different. I mean, it's literally pressure washing it and you're done. Whereas on yours, you really got to scratch your head and go, do I restain all this? Are these deck boards still in good condition? If I'm going to pump this kind of money into restaining, might I want to consider just redecking it? But as far as the process to stain a deck, yeah, if you followed what he's telling you, that's not wrong at all. What he's saying is accurate. Temperature plays in, humidity plays in. But reality is very few people go through that process. So then
I actually did that process the first time, and I will say it lasted a long time. So there might be some value to that. Now you kind of hit on this just a second ago. The benefits between composite and then the real treated wood. The big difference is going to be that upfront cost, right?
It is. The spread has gotten closer and closer. It's still a little bit more expensive, but the first real brand to come out with a composite decking is going to be Trex. So a lot of times that's TREX. So a lot of times when people talk about composite decking, they just kind of all call it Trex, kind of like everybody calls Band-Aid. There has been some new players to the game that have stepped in to try to fill that void between the top dollar Trex and treated lumber to kind of bridge that gap. So there's some competitors out there that make a very high quality product that's going to fit kind of in that middle ground, to where it's somebody saying, I want the longevity of a Trex, but I don't want to go full for the brand of Trex. Let's find a happy median. So your price is more, but it used to be about 4 times the cost of, when you're looking at a deck board, it was about 4 times the cost. And now with some competitors out there, you can get it for roughly 2 times the cost. So yes, it's a more of an expense on the front end, but if it's an area you're going to use quite often, I would suggest it. If it's like the deck on your house, on the front of your house upstairs, it probably doesn't get as much use. Maybe not invest in the money there, but the area you use quite often, it's worth it.
I remember when that first came out, I feel like it was like the early 2000s, because I was a reporter in Jeff City, Missouri, and we were doing a story about whether you should do a composite or treated wood even back then. So and I remember how much it cost back then too. And I got a question here from Laura. She likes the grayed out look, which is the look that my mom's back deck has. And she says, does the composite stay hot or hold heat though? And I can say that it does not. My mom's decking actually feels kind of cool, like to the touch. I guess it would depend on the color that you'd use.
That's the biggest thing right there is the color. The darker you go, it's going to absorb more of those UV rays. It's going to hold its heat. The lighter color, I think on your mother's, we did I believe it's a gray look to it. So the lighter colors are going to help. Plus on your mom's house, it's in the woods and it's covered. So you have to have those things working for you. If it's a out in the open exposed decking, the lighter the color, the better.
Yep. Now, we've covered decking. If there's anything else you want to add about decking, let me know. It was almost kind of like a nightmare when you said replace the deck boards. I don't want to hear that right now. And I know Jason Applegate, owner here at Extol Media, he's got to replace like his whole deck. So eventually it can come to that. I don't want to think about that right now. But anything else with decking or anything else you want to hit on that we haven't hit on in this edition of Wednesdays with Weddington?
No, I think we went all around the place on the decking, from one extreme to the other, from replacing to just restaining. Um, the lady that popped in on the comments, she said she liked that grayed out look. So as long as that's something that you like, you can just clear coat it. But the biggest thing people want to know is, what can I put on my deck that's going to last the longest?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's a solid stain is going to last the longest, as far as blocking UV rays and protecting that decking. If the looks is something you're going for, you can go with a lighter color.
And Laura says, great to know. So happy to help out Laura there. And I put the deck on my cabin, which is just like a camping cabin, on by myself. And it may only last, we don't know how long that's going to last because I did it myself. But do you know somebody close to you that might be able to help people out with decking still these days that you want to give a shout out to?
I've got my framers do a lot of my decking for me. Believe it or not, my dad actually owns a company.
That's what I was trying to tee you up there a little bit.
Yeah, my dad actually owns a company called Weddington Fence and Deck, and that's all he does is fencing and decking. He does them on my houses occasionally, but he more caters to the homeowners as opposed to the contractors.
Yeah,
he's been in that business for about 15 years now. So
okay.
What's
all right, awesome.
Fence and Deck.
Weddington Fence and Deck, Weddington Custom Homes. All right, we've had a good, 15 minutes here with Brad Weddington. Thanks for the information. We will see you next time. And if you have any questions or comments, you can always leave them in the comments, or you can email me or Brad. Brad, have a good rest of your Wednesday. Thanks for popping in.
You too. Thanks, Ben.
All right, see you, bud. All right, that was Brad Weddington. I'm going to take the earpiece out here. Thank you guys for the comments. Thank you, Laura, for joining in the conversation, and John Fox as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the little scroll there at the bottom. There you can see as well Weddington Custom Homes here this morning. So we're going to get back to that forecast here for today, and then we'll jump into the weather models as we start to look ahead to the chance of showers and thunderstorms for our Father's Day weekend. As you saw in Brad's backyard, a lot of sunshine out there. Here's the live view at the corner of Market and Vincennes in uptown New Albany. So you see a little bit of traffic passing on through there here this morning. And we'll take a look at some other live cams and some current conditions across the area before we, again, jump into that weather model data. So Laura saying, welcome. Again, thanks for being part of that conversation this morning. And so as we pop back up the forecast today, in case you missed it before Brad popped in, UV index is going to be very high level of 8 today, a little bit hazy thanks to some of that Canadian wildfire smoke, and moderate levels of tree, grass, and mold. So as we look at the forecast here for today, we're looking at a high of 86 degrees, sunny, very warm, not too humid yet. So the humidity going to be a little higher tomorrow, and then a little higher Friday, and then it's just going to be off the charts Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be immediate sweat as you head out the door. It's Florida weather, which I love. I love that kind of weather. That's what it's going to be like for this weekend. Our tonight's low, 67 degrees, clear and calm. Moonrise at 10:02. We don't often do the moonrise time, but last night was the full moon at 9:05. It was rising in the southern sky. It is also the lowest angle moon that we have throughout the year. As it doesn't rise real high in the sky, it's kind of off towards the south. So it'll be kind of a low angle in the sky, but it's almost full at 10:02, in case you missed it yesterday. And then our forecast here for tomorrow, we're looking at 68 out the door, 83 by noon, and popping up to near 90 degrees tomorrow. And the humidity, again, not off the charts for our Thursday, but will still be rising a little bit. All right, the 7-day forecast here, we have Friday 88, so very warm and humid, a 30% chance of a shower thunderstorm late in the day. I know we had that comment earlier pop in before we had Brad here. So let me take a look at Mike Siebert's comment first. Mike said, is there a good chance of rain Friday? You know, Mike, I think we're talking late day, evening time, west of I-65, best chance on Friday. So if you're out towards Patoka, might get that rain chance first, western Kentucky, and then much later east of I-65. Maybe no rain at all if you're down towards Lake Cumberland, maybe out towards Green River Lake, off to the southeast, Taylorsville Lake. Might take longer Friday, might be dry most of the day. But towards evening time, that chance goes up a little bit Friday. I've only got it at about a 30% chance. And some of the weather models keep that rain until like late night or even into Saturday. So we're still going to fine tune that forecast. So we've got that small chance of rain Friday. Good question there, Mike. And what do you think about the temps this time of the year? Usually hot by now. We've been slow into the summer season, I think. I mean, summer hasn't began yet. I mean, we're still 9 days away from summertime. So we still have plenty of time for June, July, August, September to heat up. We can get up to 100 degrees in September. So we've got a long way to go. And there are signs that the jet stream will take that track to the north and leave us in that summer pattern for the rest of this month. But still maybe close enough. We get a little wiggle, a little ripple, a little wrinkle in the jet stream close enough that we get some occasional showers and thunderstorms. So Janet asking a similar question, will it rain on Friday night? So there is a chance for a shower or thunderstorm Friday night, kind of hit or miss, and we're going to look at the weather model data and plan that out here in just a moment. Mike Perkins saying good day to you. Thanks for tuning in. Lily and Lasley, have a wonderful day. And looking normal for mid-June. Yeah, our normal highs, mid-80s, they go up day by day, degree by degree. And we've got a hello from Camilla Newton from Lake Michigan. Oh, that sounds refreshing. I got to spend some time in Traverse City, Michigan, up northern Michigan last June, a year ago, and had a blast. It is an awesome, awesome time up there. Wyatt writes, popping in this morning. Wyatt, let me know when you want to come on the show. He is a future meteorologist, already a meteorologist. Meteorologist just means you study the weather. He studies the weather. And I think you're going to see some live streaming and some weather content coming from Wyatt soon. And I will be promoting his page when he does. And I'm sure he's going to be covering PRP Valley Station very well. So tune into Wyatt Wrights. So again, I'll pop up the 7-day forecast one more time before we dig into that weather model data. And there you can see we're just locked in a summer pattern, mid to upper 80s all the way through the next 7 days. And looking at, occasional afternoon pop-up shower or thunderstorm, it looks like for much of next week as well. So my favorite time of the year, so I'll take it. There's a live look here with the Falls of the Ohio Foundation, Cam, fallsoftheohio.org, and looking at some of the rapids of the Falls of the Ohio. And the Ohio River is right about normal. Some of the smaller river systems in Indiana, like the East Fork of the White River, the Muscatatuck River, are up near minor flood stage. So just kind of keep that in mind. And we've got Laura saying, oh, great, a PRP Valley Station weather guy. That's right. So stay tuned. There you go, Wyatt. We're going to grow your audience right away. And we will promote Wyatt once he begins doing that. All right, I think we've covered a lot here. We've covered a lot. So we're looking at temperatures as we look at xtolmag.com/weather, making their way into the 70s here. And so starting to warm things up with that full force sunshine. You got to really expand out the map to see the showers, closest rain really in Texas, and then up towards South Dakota and Minnesota. So nowhere close to us. And here's the radar and satellite. And when we first started the show, I did a little bit of a drawing. And let me try again here. We've got high pressure. High pressure usually means happy weather. When I do school talks, I say the same stuff here. So you got sunshine. And the reason is the mechanics behind this. High pressure is sinking air. It provides a lid over the atmosphere and does not really allow the clouds to grow. The opposite of high pressure is low pressure, and that's when you get showers and thunderstorms. So eventually, as the high pressure starts to move off to the east over the next couple of days, we start to get a return flow from that high pressure moving off to the east, and we get a south breeze. So off of the Gulf, we are going to get dew points that are rising, meaning a whole lot of water content and some muggier and muggier air heading our direction. So let's go ahead and take a look at that as we look ahead with the weather models. I'm going to pop in. We're going to have to still go past the high resolution weather models because those only go out, 12 to 24 hours, and we need to look into Friday. So we're going to go ahead. I'll show you the NAM weather model is kind of a middle ground weather model, medium range, and then GFS. So I'll start with the more optimistic NAM weather model as far as the rain chance on Friday. I had a lot of questions about Friday. I don't know what's going on Friday. I haven't been invited to whatever it is, but we've got a lot of questions about the weather on Friday. Laura popping in with a comment here. Love me some Indiana, though. My family on dad's side were from Leavenworth, Indiana. Still have family there in parts of southern Indiana. I said we're all cousins, right? Indiana or Kentucky. I've got family from way back, like when the industrial revolution happened in cities. Big car companies were popping up and industries in Indiana. There were families that moved from parts of eastern and southeastern Kentucky that were very poor. I've got grandparents that had no shoes growing up and then moved to cities in Indiana, and vice versa. We're right here all together. So a lot of family on both sides of the river. Just look at it. Be a good weekend to go to the Overlook restaurant in Leavenworth. My wife and I tried to do that on an anniversary, but it was closed when we went out there. We stayed at a VRBO out there, and that is a really cool places. Laura says, agree, cousins, all related. There you go. All right, so let's go ahead and let me go ahead and bring up. I've got the weather model data. I need to close out here. Oh, there we go. There's what I'm looking for. We'll bring up this scene right here, and I'm going to keep the NAM, and now we're going to jump into, so Friday is the 13th. Friday the 13th. A little spooky here for us. Hopefully not spooky with the weather, though. There is none. John, good point here. FYI, I heard the Sahara dust blowing into the Atlantic is holding back any tropical storms to form. It does inhibit the formation of tropical storms. So not all bad when you get that dust flying over the Atlantic Ocean. So yeah, right off the Sahara, you get that wind blowing over the Atlantic, and that is what is happening out that direction. All right, so this is Friday at 11 a.m. per the NAM. Not 3 kilometer, it's actually a more kilometer. It is a less resolution weather model because we are a little bit past where the high resolution weather models can go. But here's 2 o'clock on Friday. Notice the active weather out to the west. There is kind of a little stationary front or a slow moving front that's going to start to move closer late Friday, closer Saturday, and then kind of on top of a Sunday, it looks like. So that is going to be getting rid of the high pressure. So the high pressure is gone. We don't have that lid anymore. And when you heat up in the afternoon with the moist and warm air, it becomes what we call buoyant, and it becomes very lightweight, and it produces clouds that grow big enough, cumulonimbus clouds, to produce some scattered showers and thunderstorms. So that's the setup we have for the weekend. This is looking at 5 p.m. Friday. So this is the more optimistic weather model as far as storms Friday, as it keeps the storms away for a while. Now that is not the case. This is looking at 2 p.m. Saturday, some scattered pop-up showers and thunderstorms per the NAM weather model. So that would be the best solution if you want to hold off the rain through the entire work week. Now, as we go to the GFS weather model, I'm going to back this up to around 11 a.m. Friday the 13th. All right, so it shows a little bit of activity possibly by the morning. There you can see this is the afternoon. Random pop-up shower or thunderstorm possible. So I've got that at about a 30% chance Friday. That is the GFS weather model. But it, again, is not a high-resolution weather model. Tomorrow and early Friday morning, we're going to get into the high-res, and that is going to give us a little better timing for Friday. There's a lot of questions about Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday, I would say just be ready for some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms from time to time. Don't think it's going to be a washout, but there will be that chance. All right, so now we're heading into Saturday the 14th. This is 2 p.m. and this here is at 5 p.m. So as we go full screen with this, notice there's nothing organized here. There is no storm system. There's no big area of low pressure. These are just your what we call air mass thunderstorms. Air mass meaning very warm and humid, and you just kind of sneeze and you might pop up a shower or thunderstorm. Just an unstable atmosphere. In fact, I can bring up the CAPE, the convective available potential energy, which we haven't talked a whole lot about lately. And there you can see it is pretty high. So anything over like 1,000, you got a pretty juicy atmosphere. And it's pretty juicy all over the place. Those are joules per kilogram, Joules. If you want to Google joules per kilogram, that is the amount of energy per kilogram, and that's a good amount of energy around the region. So that is your pop-up thunderstorm activity. Thankfully, with this, we don't have much wind energy. So we're lacking a severe weather ingredient. So not expecting severe weather this weekend for Father's Day weekend, but we call them pulse thunderstorms, pop-up thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening time. They kind of grow straight up. They can put down some, gusty, what we call microburst winds. When the storm's falling apart, it can kind of splash down. You can get some gusty winds and some tropical rainfall for a little while, then kind of wash themselves out or they move on. Occasional pop-up showers and thunderstorms possible this weekend. Don't even try it, Sam Gabrielli, who just got a job. Sam is a coworker of mine for a couple of years. The most positive coworker I ever had. He's trying to set me up here and throw me under the bus. What is the equation for a joule? Force equals mass times acceleration. And so force is a measure of energy, and that's about as far as I'm going to go. But 1.21 gigawatts. Christopher Ramos, can you chat GPT me or just Google the equation for the joule, please? I need a phone a friend here. Sam Gabrielli, by the way, got a job in Nashville. He is a flight dispatcher. We talked about Sam a little while ago, and that he was down in Fort Lauderdale training in Reed Yaden's stomping grounds down there, and getting his degree there, certificate, training, whatever you want to call it, to become a flight dispatcher. So flight dispatcher, every pilot has a flight dispatcher, whether it's UPS, whether it's United, Southwestern Airlines, whatever, regional carriers, and they plan out the flight. They try to avoid bad weather. They have to think about the load, how much weight is on that airplane. A lot of different equations go into that. So congratulations to Sam Gabrielli. When you get in town, let's try to play some tennis as well. Thanks for popping in. Good to see you there, Sam. Would love to see you in person sooner than later. All right, let's go back to, we're going to get away from the joules per kilogram and go back to the reflectivity. And the planet, we'll go in, so that's our Saturday. So I've got about a 60% chance of that shower or thunderstorm for Saturday. And then as we go into the 15th, now this is Sunday, I've also got about a 60% chance. It looks like this weak front, and it is a very weak front. We're not going to really see any air mass change. It's just kind of barely a weak wind shift. Air from kind of the northwest, meaning an airflow from the southwest, but very light winds. A little bit of convergence. When the air converges at the surface, you've got mass convergence and it has nowhere to go but up. So instead of high pressure, which puts a lid on the atmosphere, you've got some convergence at the surface with a weak wind convergence, and this will spark some occasional showers and thunderstorms. So this is our Sunday. That's 11 a.m. As we go to 2 p.m., notice that chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms as we look at the full screen view there. This is at 2 p.m. on Sunday. So we'll have that front possibly on top of us Sunday, giving us a good chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. I know there's still some grad parties out there, and everybody wants to be outside. Father's Day weekend. I'm sure there's a lot of tee times made, fishing, pool, lake, yard work, whatever it might be. We're going to have to do a little bit of a rain dodge from time to time for this weekend. Christopher just says, "Great Scott." What is that in reference to? Let me know. Christopher Ramos has been a long-time viewer, by the way. Thank you for tuning in. And cheers here with Big Happy. As we take a slight break here, we're all the way up to Sunday with the weather model data at 10:45. I feel like maybe I'm on the other end of this allergy attack, or whether it's a cold or whatever it is. This right side of my throat has been on fire for several days. I'm a little bit slow this morning. Back to back, Back to the Future references. Thank you. I'm trying to control too many things here. It takes me a little time to catch on. This is 8 p.m. Sunday, and then I'm going to bump this to, real quick, we'll look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which kind of looks the same. You get an afternoon pop-up shower or thunderstorm. If that front settles a little farther south, this is Monday, maybe a better chance in Kentucky than Indiana. As we get this far out, the bent on a limb part of our program here, some of this, we take it with a grain of salt when we're this far out. This is why I've got just a general, like 30% chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. As you can see, as we warm up with the heat of the day, there could be that pop-up air mass shower or thunderstorm. We've got Myra Craig. Sam, glad to hear it's going well. Would you consider teaching a webinar for a layperson about meteorology, Ben? And we were thinking about doing that. I didn't get a chance to take Tom Will's class at U of L years ago. So if there is interest in that, through this program that I use to live stream, there is a webinar option where we could do, a registration, and we could come in and do that. So, if we see some more comments about that is a possibility. We could have fun with that. Lillian saying, I love fish. I love to fish. I love to eat fish. And my son has a fish in his room. So all the ways of loving fish. And Laura said, Tom Wills, loved him. Yeah, thankfully I got to join the group of television meteorologists when Tom was still in the air at WAVE. So he is a legend in this area for sure. All righty then. We got Alberta popping in with a good morning. Thank you, Alberta Philpott, for tuning in this morning. So we've made it through the weather model data, and let me go ahead real quick. We will pop up the Storm Prediction Center's outlooks, which we're not going to see much with this. And hey, this is something to celebrate, by the way. We've made it through May, early June. We've made it through the peak of severe weather season. So we're going to see lower chances of severe weather. So this is today's severe weather outlook. It's pretty low wherever you go. None for us. Obviously, we've got high pressure. It's going to keep us high and dry. Lots of sunshine. No severe weather for us tomorrow. Low throughout the United States. Day 3, this would be Friday. Slight risk of severe storms out west. And we are under what is just called a general thunderstorm category. There could be a pop-up storm. And it would be late day, likely Friday if that happens. Day 4, not seeing anything there. As I go to the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, so this is looking through next week, a little bit above average chance of some precipitation chances here from the Climate Prediction Center. The temperature outlook, so now this means we've got the jet stream lifting a little farther north. We're on the warm side of the jet stream as the polar jet begins to move up into Canada, where it likes to rest for the summertime. So as that polar jet lifts to the north, we start to see those above normal temperatures and a summertime pattern. This is the 8 to 14 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Anywhere you see that tan or that orange color, that indicates an above average chance of above normal temperatures. So there you go. Starting to trend warmer and warmer and more summer-like day by day. And that is what you'll see as I pop up the forecast once again here in just a second. And we'll pop up another look outside at the sunshine. Beautiful conditions across the region here with that live look here in uptown New Albany, Indiana. So what do you have planned for this weekend, for Father's Day weekend? Don't forget the dads, go grab that card, the gift certificate, or whatever dad might want. A reminder there for you, trying to help you out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. I think we looked at all the weather model products that I wanted to look at. And we'll pop up that forecast here once again before we wrap it all up. I'll remove that, add that. So last night was that strawberry full moon, June's full moon. Thank you to Pam K and Josh Smith. I just picked a couple of them. There were more that shared it below that post that had like over 75,000 views. So thank you everybody for tuning into the Facebook post and sharing that. Thanks for liking or sharing my Facebook page, Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media on YouTube. That is EXTOL if you search that. And this was the sunrise this morning, hazy sunrise. We had still some Canadian wildfire smoke around the area, but more so probably just some of that haze or a light fog from just some morning time humidity there coming out of the ground. We still have, this is a look at the vertically integrated smoke. This is the haze that we still have over the Ohio River Valley. This is the HRRR, the High Resolution Rapid Refresh weather model. The smoke graphics there from NOAA, and it still shows for this afternoon some of that haze from the wildfire smoke. Very high, nonetheless, UV index 8. Easy to get a burn out there for today. On the allergy report, moderate levels of tree grass and mold. And what do you recommend for me? I think for the first time in my life, I am going to wear a mask while mowing today. I'm not sure how that'll work out, as it's a pretty athletic event in my hilly yard. It's like if I do the whole thing, it's like a 6-mile walk behind the zero turn. I can't ride a zero turn because it would fall into a pond if I did that, or into a ravine. So do you guys use a mask while mowing? I was curious about that. Hopefully it'll help, because a lot of times if there's not much wind, I can just see all of the particulates being wafted in the air from the mower, and I know I'm breathing it all in. And when you go in and you take a Kleenex, you see the proof of all of the dust and the particulates. So I might actually do it. I might actually go ahead and wear a mask while mowing out there today, because you can still hear I've got some issues. 86 degrees, sunny and very warm out there today. Not too humid just yet. Southwest wind at around 5 miles per hour. 67 our low for tonight, clear and calm. We've got our moonrise at 10:02. It's going to be an almost full moon in that southern sky, pretty low on the horizon. And the tomorrow's forecast, upper 60s getting started, 83 at noon, and then upper 80s near 90 degrees for the afternoon. So about 4 degrees above normal. Our average high there, bottom left, is 85. And our sun up at 6:19 and setting at 9:07. We're almost to those latest sunsets, which are right around late June. June 20th is the beginning of summertime in just about 9 days. So here is the 7-day forecast as we start to wrap things up. Upper 80s next couple of days. Late day shower or thunderstorm possible Friday. A better chance of some scattered pop-up showers and storms for Saturday and Sunday. Wouldn't cancel the outdoor plans, but maybe have that alternate plan to head inside if one of those tropical downpours does develop. And then we could have an isolated shower or storm pop up in the afternoon. Summertime pattern next week. Notice the low temperatures around 70, so it's almost like AC all of the time with this weather pattern right here. A reminder, you can go to xtolmag.com/weather. You can see the interactive radar there that I like to play around with. Be your own meteorologist right there. I've got the weather story posted every morning. This one says summer pattern with the weekend storm chances. Got 7-day forecast and a lot of other weather tools. You can see Brad Weddington in the upper left-hand corner. He was our interview this morning. If you came in a little bit late, we talked for about 15 minutes about decking. All about your deck, repairing a deck, building a deck, staining a deck, sanding a deck, power washing a deck. If you want to watch the replay, that was around 10:10 to 10:25. So thanks once again to Brad Weddington of Weddington Custom Homes for his expertise this morning. And he actually turned me on a while ago to do some banking with NWSB. So I've got a personal account. I've got a business account with newwashbank.com. People you know wherever you go, banking the way you want. And you might be getting those paychecks if you go to libspaving.com. That is with Libs with a B as in Ben, Libs Paving, one of the largest contractors around as far as paving and concrete. And you can see every blue purple line right here is a job posting. So take a look at everything they've got going on there, and you can apply right there online. Lions Roofing, by the way, has a roofing repair technician. So if you have a family friend or someone you know that needs a job, give them a call, 812-294-3595. You can see their logo, their number on a lot of my Facebook posts, and right here on Ben at 10. And a reminder too, you can head to ivytech.edu, go to locations, go to Sellersburg, the Sellersburg campus, right around exit 9 on I-65. You can check out their beautiful campus there. 42 programs offered. They've got Tuesdays at the Tech. You can get one-on-one help with registering for classes, how to pay for classes, all the different programs that they are offered there. You can register online for that. The summer session is underway. And I believe every 8 weeks they've got sessions. So summer now and fall right around the corner. So thank you very much, everybody. Laura popping in with maybe one of our last comments of the day. Thank goodness for that AC. We have a little bit of a leak in our upstairs AC. So it seems like every couple of years we've got to get it reloaded with the Freon. So it's getting a little sketchy with our upstairs unit. We've got 3 levels, a basement, first floor, and then our second floor. And the top floor always a little bit warmer than the other 2. So hope and pray that it keeps going. In the wintertime, thank goodness for the heat. Summertime, thank goodness for that AC. On behalf of Big Happy here, the coffee's running low as we get a little bit closer to lunchtime. Anybody else want the last comment before we wrap this all up? If not, I'm going to say have a happy hump day. Good Wednesday morning, good Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for watching the replay. If you are watching today on Ben at 10, please go ahead and like, subscribe. As all those YouTube content creators often say, there's a reason for that. When you do that, more and more people can check it out. Obviously, we believe that we're offering some valuable content here for Southern Indiana and beyond here. It is Xtol Media on YouTube. It is Xtol Weather on Facebook. It is my Facebook page right here, Meteorologist Ben Peine, P-E-I-N-E. There it is. Let me get rid of Laura's comment there. So Meteorologist Ben Peine, P-E-I-N-E. And also xtolmag.com/weather. All right, we've got another one popping in, and this is going to wrap things up. Jeanette Pierce, good morning, Ben. Loving the weather today. It is phenomenal weather out there. I'm about to be out in it all afternoon doing my yard work, and the grass is very tall. It's going to be a challenge. With one tire that is leaking, I've got to fill it up every now and again, so I need to get that done. So I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Very warm summer-like day on the way for our Thursday. We'll talk about that. We'll try to fine-tune the weekend storm chances as we start to get into that higher resolution weather model data for Father's Day weekend to try to do a little better fine-tuning with that forecast. Laura, maybe the last comment here. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate you. Appreciate you for watching as well. We'll see you tomorrow morning on Ben at 10.